We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.
It was called the Red Summer of 1919, named for the blood that ran through America's cities during months of racial unrest. African-American soldiers had returned home from the Great War, World War I, to a country still teeming with discrimination. And in their quest for civil rights, tensions between blacks and whites reached a tipping point. Deadly race riots broke out in over 24 cities, but one rural town, Elaine, Arkansas, would become the epicenter for the bloodshed. The violence there, lynch mobs, torture, indiscriminate murder, was so horrific it would go down in history not as a race riot, but as the Elaine Massacre. This is history. Dark history. During World War I, more than 350,000 African-American soldiers enlisted to serve. But while they fought for democracy abroad, their own country, America, was still not willing to see them as equal.
White supremacy was very mainstream at this time in the United States. Basically, a lot of African Americans were seeking to obtain their full rights and equality in the United States, and violence was often used by mobs of whites.
Tensions reached a boiling point in the summer of 1919. Race riots broke out in dozens of cities across the country. But in the rural South, something even more menacing was taking form. There, slavery existed in all but name. In a system called sharecropping, farmers provided landowners with labor for a share of crops produced. But the system was rigged. Sharecroppers were often kept in perpetual debt.
One black sharecropper raised $500 worth of cotton, and his landlord told him, "Yeah, but you used $697 worth of supplies, so you owe me money."
Everyone who has any power at this point is working to make sure they keep African American laborers tied to the land.
For roughly 50 years, the system went unchecked. In the fall of 1918, a black man from Arkansas had had enough. Robert Hill had decided to form a union to represent sharecroppers. It was a dangerous decision, and one that would set off a chain of events involving mass murder, torture, and a landmark Supreme Court ruling. But first, he would need to organize.
In his message, Hill was pretty simple and direct. Why is it that we cannot have fair payment for the honest and hard work we do?
Despite the inherent risk involved with challenging whites, World War I veterans and other black sharecroppers became card-carrying members of the Progressive Farmers and Household Union of America.
He believed that by paying dues, these members could have the services of lawyers and sue plantation owners for cotton that had been stolen from them and false numbers that had been placed in the plantation stores' books.
On the night of September 30th, 1919, Union members gathered in Elaine to discuss their legal plan.
This is in Phillips County. It's basically just a crossroads at this time, a road, a few houses, a railroad siding, no streetlights. There's also a one-room wooden church, and that's where the Union met. Expecting that they might have trouble, the Union posted a guard of about 6 men. They had shotguns and rifles. The meeting's taking place, and while they're having this discussion, a car rolls up the road.
2 white men were in the car.
By one account, one of the white men in the car said, "You all get away from there." And shortly thereafter, a shot was fired.
Though it remains unclear who fired first, a barrage of gunfire broke out. One of the white men was killed almost instantly. The rumor of a black uprising spread in a matter of hours. The idea of a sharecropper rebellion conveniently played into the hands of landowners who did not want their sharecropping practices scrutinized. They did all they could, as quickly as they could, to sound alarms that black farmers were out for white blood.
The story gets magnified that the town is under attack, that blacks are killing people in the streets, that there is a revolution afoot.
The sharecroppers quickly formed self-defense groups, expecting repercussions over the death of a white man. But they could not have predicted just how severe the response would be. The following morning, under the watchful eye of Sheriff Frank Kitchens and his deputies, posses of white men were sent to find, detain, and kill the offenders.
When you have an out-of-control mob just being told there's a Negro insurrection going on, that mob is being very indiscriminate in its violence. You see houses being attacked, black-owned homes being ransacked.
The black school was burnt. Notable families were killed.
Black women and children have to go literally hide out in the woods because many of these people are indiscriminately shooting at African American women and their children.
Black veterans and other African Americans took up arms in self-defense.
This no doubt just feeds into the mob fervor. The fact that, oh, they're daring to shoot back at us. This must really be an insurrection.
One historian has identified more than 20 different killing sites where African Americans were being killed.
There are stories that mob members were taking souvenirs, such as ears or fingers from the bodies of fallen African Americans.
One of the leading black families of the county, they weren't even in the town. They had just received a brother back from the French front. They are pulled from a train, put in the back of a car, and they are stabbed, shot, and their mutilated bodies are left on the side of the road.
Within 2 days, 500 U.S. troops were sent to quell the supposed black uprising.
They don't find any blacks killing or shooting down the streets. In fact, Colonel Jinks reports that the city is filled with hundreds and hundreds of white men with guns. Many of the individuals who were hiding in the thickets were former soldiers who had just gotten back from the war. And when they see the army troops come, they rush out, believing that the army troops are there to assist them. The army believes that these people are rushing toward them to attack, and they're cut down by machine gun fire.
Although the exact number will never be known, a recent estimate suggests 237 black men, women, and children were killed. There was an immediate demand for justice, but not for the black lives lost. 5 white men were also killed in the fighting. Hundreds of African Americans were rounded up and put in jail, and when the jail was full, they detained the rest in a schoolhouse.
While they are detained, there is torture going on.
The goal? To elicit false confessions of a black uprising.
They whipped the men, whipped them for long periods of time. They stuffed formaldehyde up their noses, and they stripped them naked and shocked them with electrical charges. They did this until they confessed to the conspiracy.
Robert Hill escaped to Kansas, but his peers back in Arkansas were not as lucky. 122 indictments were issued, and trials quickly started.
The men were brought into the court in chains. They weren't allowed to consult with their defense attorney. The defense attorney rarely interjected, and then the all-white juries started delivering guilty verdicts. In one case, the guilty verdicts came back in 2 minutes.
It's also important to point out that there were mobs of people outside who were demanding black blood. Governor Bruff maintained that at some point these people would be killed, but they would have to have been killed justly.
The governor lived up to his word. When among the 87 black citizens charged with crimes, 12 were sentenced to death by electric chair. Despite the system being blatantly rigged against them, the convicted men had one unlikely beacon of hope: the American justice system. The trials of the Elaine 12 had been highly publicized. The NAACP took notice and stepped in with legal help for the 12. For 4 years, the team faced a series of legal setbacks and advances, until in 1923, the case made its way to the Supreme Court in what is now known as Moore versus Dempsey. There, the defense argued that the original trials had been mob-dominated, and the black prisoners had been denied their constitutional rights. In a landmark decision, the court agreed.
The good that comes out of this is that the NAACP sees for the first time that they can win in the Supreme Court, that things don't always fall along the color lines.
The 12, subjected to torture, injustice, and litigation travesty, were at long last exonerated and released in January 1925. They might have escaped with their lives, but there was nothing that could reverse the pain and devastation felt by the black community in Phillips County, and no way to unsee the ungodly truth that American men, alongside the American government, were complicit in a massacre of American citizens on American soil.
We as a nation have grown and we continue to grow. We don't need to pretend as if we've always had everything figured out. But if we are to do justice to who we are as Americans, we've got to own all of it.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's your man H Rap B. Thank you for tuning in. This is Built for This Network. This is a show called Build and Destroy, where we're going to build up our community and we're going to destroy the myths and propaganda that's been fed to us for more than 400 years. My goal is to always make you a better person after the show than you were before the show, by giving you information and encouragement that'll help you throughout the rest of your day until the next person comes on to inspire you further, whether it be Built for This Network or any of the several networks on what I call Black Spreaker. Let me turn this music down a little bit. My man Wynton Marsalis. Music for the soul. Hopefully that's better. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all know how I do this. It was taught to me that before every time you have a speaking engagement, that you should acknowledge your ancestors. When you send up respect to them, they send down peace and blessings to you and your listeners. Therefore, I do this every week. I send a shout out to my family connected to the Whitmore family, the Pollard family, the Turner family, the Battle family, the Cotton family, the Harper family, the Bailey family, the Chris family, the Lansdowne family, the Liggins family, the Duncan family, the Williams family. And you all know that's me, my pops, my brothers, and my sisters. We're the Williams clan. We're in the building, mad love. Another one of my rituals is to announce that this is a podcast. This isn't live radio. This is a terrestrial radio. If you come in late or have to leave early, understand that you can always come back to Spreaker.com and listen to the show. I welcome that. You can dissect it, look for problems that I may or may not have left on the table or what have you. And then we can move forward. You can move forward and continue to support. It is recommended, and I thank you for it. Mad love for that. But if you're unable to come back to Spreaker, you can always subscribe to any of your podcast apps, which would be Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Alexa. There's several outlets. TheRockerNetwork.com, TheEndOfTheBench.com. You can find us anywhere you like, man. Ask Alexa or Google Assistant to play Built for This Network, and you can catch up with our shows that way. This is not the only outlet, and I encourage you and ask you to subscribe to our network, whether it be via Spreaker.com or any other outlets you can get it. Subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you for the support. With that being said, thank you again. I want to say happy Father's Day to the brothers out there getting it in. I see a lot of people on social media big up in there, patting themselves on the back. And thank you for that, man. Pat yourself on the back. And we don't have any room for this nonsense about the real fathers and all that bullshit, okay? We salute the brothers who are taking up. No disrespect to the sisters. You had a day. It was Mother's Day. We're not gonna go back and forth with that. All right. We're gonna salute the men who take care of their children, the uncles, the grandfathers, the cousins, and things of that nature. And that's it, and that's all. I mean, if that's abrasive to you, sucks to be you. All right. And that's just how I feel. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me a little bit of your Saturday. It's tough to do this on a Saturday, you know, because people usually run around running errands and things of that nature. So when you give me a little bit of your time, it is duly appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get the show on the road. Now, this is a special week in the history of our community. This is a weekend that is commemorated by us. We created this. If you see, I don't have the normal Build and Destroy logo up today. What I have is the Juneteenth flag as my logo, because this is Juneteenth weekend. Juneteenth is the celebration of the emancipation of our community. And I want to salute all the brothers and the sisters that I've seen over the last 24 hours who are representing and saluting our pride, saluting the emancipation of our people. Because if you read the history books, people gave us freedom. If you listen to the teachers, if you listen to the teachers, people gave us our freedom. If you read the history books, we took our freedom. We freed white America. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? Man, how y'all free white America? We freed white America. So when you question Juneteenth or you roll your eyes or whatever, that's on you. I understand. I was talking to the homie Joe from Houston, Dallas, and Chicago. He from all over the place. But I got angry, man, because I was looking at people on social media not represent this properly, right? And I was like, what the hell? And I got angry. But then as the day goes along, it was proof positive that you don't need to get mad at ignorant people. You don't need to get mad at anybody, man. What you need to do is protect your spirit at all times and represent who you are and what you come from at all times to the best of your ability. And that's what I did. And that's what a bunch of people in Chicago and throughout the United States of America did yesterday. So I want to give a salute, round of applause to my brothers and sisters that saluted, that represented yesterday. The reason I want to do that is because we don't pat each other on the back enough. We know exactly what's wrong with each other. You can watch a movie and you can go, hey man, that dude Park was on the other side. We do that hella good. We do that. We the best at that. But we're going to start, as far as Built for This network and other networks and other people that I'm communicating with, we're going to start identifying the goodness in us. We're going to start identifying what we do right going forward. Because we know, I don't need anybody to tell me going forward in life, I don't need anybody to tell me that my idea may not work. I really don't. Constructive criticism is not telling me what's not going to work. Constructive criticism, for the ignorant ass people out there that's listening, saying that's constructive criticism. Constructive criticism comes with a solution to the problem. I'm going to say that again. Constructive criticism comes with a solution to whatever you see as a problem. It's not just identifying what a problem is. So going forward, if you find that I don't answer your phone calls anymore or respond to your texts anymore, more than likely it's because I view you as a negative individual and I no longer want to be around you because you're destroying the energy that I'm putting out. So, it ain't personal. It's not personal. You might be a good person. You just might be brainwashed into always knowing what's wrong instead of saying this is wrong and this is how you or I or we can fix it. So it's nothing personal. It's not that I hate you or anything, but I just need good people around me. I'm trying to help reestablish the dopeness in our communities. So if you're not about that life, you're not about the life I want to live in. You're not what I want around me. And man, it's been a good ride, but I don't really want to ride with you no more. And it's not anger or anything like that. It's just you're not a good person. You're not the type of person, You're not the type of person I want to be around because I don't need you destroying my energy or bringing anything that resembles doubt around me. Like I said, you might be a good person. It's just you don't see the world the way I see it. And I'm sorry, we just can't rock no more. When I see you, I'm going to show you love, but don't call me because I'm not going to answer. But with that being said, man, the Juneteenth celebration, brothers and sisters, was awesome, heartwarming, and I want to give y'all a little history on it. A lot of people, we've been talking about this Juneteenth thing since, if you believe it or not, we've been talking about it since brothers and sisters. It's sad, but since brothers and sisters were getting murdered on a rapid rate in these streets right here. And it brought awareness to the Juneteenth celebration. It brought people saying, hey man, what's to it? People, I saw a lot of people who had never heard of it. They celebrated yesterday and things of that nature. And what I want to do is give a few brothers and sisters, if you're new to the show or if you just new to Juneteenth, I want to give you a little history on it. Juneteenth is when General Granger read the Emancipation Proclamation to the people in Galveston, Texas. If you're from Texas, you know Galveston, Port Arthur, Houston, they right around each other. And that let the brothers and sisters know, what on internet back then, you couldn't email, it wasn't on Facebook, so people got time, it took a little time. But the thing is, the state of Texas, which was a Confederate state, wasn't really trying to hit nothing that America was talking about. Up until 9 regiments of people who look like me and you. See, this the good part. This is the difference in being taught history and seeking out and learning history. This is the difference. This I'm going to help y'all find out how great you were. The greatness in you is about to show up. 9 regiments of brothers and sisters ran those Confederates out of the state of Texas. Some of them into Mexico. And they said, hey, read this, chump. And just imagine being in the fields, hearing, even though it wasn't no internet and everything like that, hearing about this emancipation, because word of mouth travels, man. No matter what time of the year it is, what time of century it is, word of mouth travels, and you hearing about this emancipation, but ain't nobody told you about it, so it's just rumor at this point. But you're hearing about this, and just imagine, you see 9 regiments of people who look like you fighting off white folks and telling you free. Tyler Perry, Spike Lee, Sheldon Lee. I'm gonna need y'all to make a movie about that. I know the brother John Singleton would have made it, God rest his soul. He would have did it by now, but he ain't done it yet. He can't do it, so he's not here. But just imagine that. And that's the beginning of Juneteenth. You see what I'm saying? So, see, we always get some white dude giving the information, but it was at the end of the barrel of a gun by a brother. 9 regiments of brothers who had fought in the Battle of Richmond. This is how you enrich yourself. Teach your kids this. Nobody gave us a damn thing. We took it. Go back to the Revolutionary War. Without brothers, George Washington and them get their ass kicked. We'll give y'all freedom if y'all roll with us. All right, we'll take these chumps down. They get took down. Nah, we were just playing psych. But this time, it was no psych. Because brothers, war started in 1861. The emancipation is started in 1862. It was officially signed in 63. We got guns November 64. War over May 65. We saved their ass. We saved their ass. That Lincoln is the friend of the brother is a lie. He wanted to kick us out, brothers and sisters. He wanted to kick us out. You see what I'm saying? So when people sit around and say, yo, man, they gave us this, like February. Nobody gave us February. Brother Superior Carter G. Woodson took Black History Week and we elevated it to Black History Month. That's what time it is. So stop, learn history. Don't be taught history. Because when you are taught history, you have to go along with the point of view of somebody else. Okay? So like I said, man, I'm here to build up our community, destroy these lies and this propaganda around our community, and people telling us that we not and we're less than and we need to and things of that nature. That's what the purpose of this show is, man. Because we're going to keep building and we're going to keep destroying these lies. We're going to get it cracking. You see what I'm saying? That's how we doing this going forward. We are going to get it cracking. I'm going to do my very best to offer you information every week that is mad useful to you. And we are going to destroy all this nonsense around our community. We're lazy. We don't work hard. We don't do what's necessary to excel and prevail. We getting rid of all that. We getting rid of every one of those lies. Well, I'm going to chip away at it. I might not be able to get rid of it alone, but with the help of you guys and the help of other people who are listening, we are going to eliminate all that monkey ball nonsense. We're not doing it anymore. That's not what we're living at right now. And with that being said, man, happy Juneteenth weekend. And I have one suggestion for you, brothers and sisters. Seeing how a lot of people didn't know about Juneteenth until this year, and they didn't have any history on it, share my podcast if you like. But what we're going to do, we're going to load up and we are going to galvanize for the 100-year anniversary of Tulsa, Oklahoma's massacre, in which white folks mobbed on our brothers and sisters, our ancestors. I'm going to go into that in a second. But next year, we're going to make this the biggest black party in the history of America. We're going to celebrate our communities. We're going to celebrate our successes. We're going to destroy all that nonsense that we cannot work together, we cannot get together, and hopefully we can make a pledge to everybody who look like us that I don't give a damn if you run across your worst enemy on that day, the 19th of June, Saturday, the 19th of June, 2021, just for 24 hours, we're going to try to make a pledge to squash all beef in the community. I'm begging you of that. I am pleading with you with that. Let's make that a reality. I will, as long for the next 52 weeks, I am going to bring that topic up. I want that in your faces every week. I want to put that on your mind every week and for 52 more weeks. 52 weeks from today, I want to be doing a show saying, hey man, I got to get out here to the cookout so we can continue to celebrate our community, our emancipation, and our ascent into greatness. That's what I'm doing. All right? Now, with that being said, next year will be the 100-year anniversary of the Trail of Tears and the Tulsa, Oklahoma situation. The Tulsa, Oklahoma situation that led from the Trail of Tears. For what y'all may not know is the Trail of Tears is when former President Andrew Jackson took what people call the Native American. I don't know what they want to be called. That's why I say what people call. I don't know if that's the indigenous brothers. I don't know if they want to be called that. You don't know what the Trail of Tears is? It's from former President Andrew Jackson, a racist, one of the favorite presidents by your president currently, uprooted a nation of people and pushed them out here. See, a lot of people assume out west, a lot of people assume that the Indians or the Native Americans or the indigenous people what was the battle around the Juneteenth? You mentioned it wasn't a excuse. Well, I'm interrupting myself. I see my man Raider for Life. It wasn't a battle. It was a battle, so to speak. But what it was an affirmation. Raider for Life. It was the affirmation. It was the orders that was sent by Lincoln to spreading the word throughout the Confederates that the brothers and sisters were supposed to be let free of their bondage. And the couple people that wanted to fight it, they got ran out of town. If you want to look it up, it's in Galveston, Texas. 9 regiments of black men. Some of those black men that fought in Richmond, Virginia, man. So they went. Just imagine that, man. We ain't talking about no jets. We ain't talking about no super trains and nothing like that. There wasn't no Amtrak back then. You know what I mean? They came out west, established it, and made people bow down. So it was a battle, but this is some things. These are things that I always looked into. Raider for Life. If you like, I get at you. We Facebook friends. I get that information to you at some point today. But I'm a history buff. Raider for Life, man. When I'm into something, I look into it, and this is just information that I had in my head. I don't know if you've ever heard me speak about my parents. My parents were freedom fighters, Raider for Life. Both my parents were members of the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense. And my mom, God rest her soul, as great as she was, as a kid, I hated it. But it's doing hella good for me now. My mom used to call spring break cleanup week. And during cleanup week, me and my sisters, we had to write book reports about black history. And it was things like this that I had to do. And I hated it as a kid. Like, what the hell? All the kids outside playing, what let me hear read? So it's things like that are still stuck with my head, Raider for Life. So I will get that information to you though, bro. I will definitely get that information to you. But like I was saying, man, it's called a Trail of Tears. The reason I'm going through this Trail of Tears thing, because I want you to understand how powerful our ancestors are, how the universe is working with us to overcome what we have to do. And thank you, Raider for Life, for engaging. Y'all know I like to engage in the chat room. I'm going through this Trail of Tears thing. It's walking you through history, because I think it's important that we know this part. So President Jackson, old racist ass, he moves the people who are known as Indians or Native Americans, the Aboriginals of North America, west, pretty much to get them out his hair. Like, get going out there, man. We don't need you, motherfucker. Get out of here. And, doing this mass exodus, he's taking these people called Indians and moving them into the western part of the country, because that was uncharted territory. This lets you know how short-sighted evil is, because you just got this land from Napoleon while he getting his ass kicked in Waterloo, and you just throwing people out there because you can't see past fucking the Mississippi River. You know what I mean? And he got Cherokees moving over there. They got slaves, Seminoles. The reason I'm bringing up Seminoles is because the so-called Seminole tribe comes from Seminoles. That means runaway. So are they really Seminoles or are they really brothers? But they mixed in with brothers and sisters. If you really want to look up an interesting brother from history, look up John Horse. He was down there with them Indians in the Seminole country, kicking Andrew Jackson in his ass, and they kicked him out to stop the war. And then he turned around and jammed their ass up again. See what I mean? Evil has no foresight. And when you talk about that, that's like 1885. Because in what Tulsa, Oklahoma didn't exist until like 1889. So now you got brothers and sisters moving out there, being pushed out that way, which you get to turn like cowboys and things like that. You get Bass Reeves and other great brothers in history. And you get great brothers in history during this time, right? And as you get these brothers in history, Tulsa is created. It's a booming society. And then they discover oil while out there where they push the brothers and sisters at, right? We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. We got to get them brothers and sisters up out of there. But by this time, it's 1905. Guess what's happening? Greenwood and Pine. That's what happened. Greenwood and Pine. That's where the brothers, that was the epicenter of Tulsa, Oklahoma, what you know is Black Wall Street. So the bullshit with what Black Wall Street go down 99 years ago. And this is why I say our ancestors are working in conjunction with us at all times. We just have to be aware of that's what they're doing. You hear about Black Wall Street all the time. What you don't hear about Black Wall Street is this. Guess what date it started? Memorial Day. Guess what date our brother George Floyd was killed? Memorial Day. Hey, Rap, you talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma? What the hell they got to do with George Floyd and Memorial Day? That's just coincidental. Where's George Floyd from? Galveston, Texas. See, this is our ancestors telling us, wake the hell up. We don't have time anymore. We don't have time to play games. Because how many times must the ancestors tap us on the shoulder and say, get your shit in order, man? We keep ignoring these signs. I tell my son this all the time. God tap you on the back of your head. I mean, he slap you on the wrist. He tap you on the back of the head. Then he kick you in the ass. We are officially standing in front of the ass kicking machine with quarters in our pocket, people. See, history continues to repeat itself over and over. And we keep ignoring it because we are being taught history instead of learning it. See, we would have never, if you don't know history, shout out to my moms. Again, they said, hate them damn book reports. My man Big Illinois and everybody outside, I'll be outside in a couple hours, man. I never told him I got to write a book report. I never told him that. Never told him that, but I had to write book reports. But now this information is embedded in me, and I'm proud to know it now. So we got to start getting on our kids to learn history. But one of the reasons, not just to show the destruction that left in Tulsa, Oklahoma, not just to talk about the tyranny that was rained upon us when you got the National Guard dropping bombs on us, pretty much napalm at that time. But I want to talk about the 12 churches that was in the Greenwood and Pine area. I want to talk about the 4 drug stores. I want to talk about the 31 restaurants, the 5 hotels, the 24 grocery stores, the hospitals, and the thousands of homes that were lost. The fact that the Freedmen's Bureau had beat us out of our money, so we didn't trust banks. So we kept our money in our savings in our houses. And when they burned down our houses, we lost everything. But now we got banks like One United that the sister Karen Hunter, God rest her, praise God, is starting a $1 billion challenge so we won't have incidents like that anymore. So salute and respect Juneteenth, man. And I beg you, brothers and sisters, today and every day, that what we need to do is this. Make sure next year's Juneteenth is a motherfucker. You know, next year's Juneteenth needs to be a motherfucker. We need to start with the sister Karen Hunter, with the brother Joe Madison, with anybody who's doing Tamika Mallory, Lurie Favors. I mean, it's a lot of brothers out there that's doing good work, contributing to the betterment of our community, the betterment of our lives, and they're trying to engage myself. I'm not even gonna put myself on their level. That's kind of disrespectful to them because they got that super leg work in. I'm just skating around the crust. But That's why we needed to celebrate Juneteenth yesterday. So when you got your friends and family members, Bob Johnson, thank you, #1 Chief Rocket Jersey Fire. So when somebody steps to you and say, man, I don't really know about that, you can either guide them to my show or guide them to some of them brothers and sisters I just named. Because, man, it's a lot of greatness in our community. Yeah, some of our young people walk around with their pants hanging off their behinds. Yeah, some of our sisters out here reckless. Yeah, there's a lot of negative out there that you could focus on. But for every young man who looking like a damn fool to me with his pants hanging off his ass, there are 50 young men who doing the right thing. For every young lady who's acting a fool on one of them social media, one of them Facebook videos or whatever, it's 1,000 sisters that graduated from college and has they graduated from college and has started businesses. Because guess what? The most educated force in America today, the black woman, the greatest the greatest inventor of jobs and industry today, the black woman. So where the sisters may feel like they're being disrespected at an alarming rate, brothers like Rap and other good people out here, and I know a lot of my listeners and my I don't call y'all followers, I call y'all support group. My support group, we love the sisters. We got mad respect for y'all. So I just want to start to show off with that. So when people ask you, when people come to you and say ignorant ass shit like, oh man, that's just some shit, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's always a naysayer somewhere. It's motherfucker it's a crab somewhere. So, you know, crabs. We gonna move away from y'all. That's what we gonna do. And we gonna continue to build, man, because the country is a crab at this point, looking at our community. We surrounded by crabs. We got damn Red Lobster up in this motherfucker, man. So I want to start off my show like that. And then I want to kick this president in his ass. President Donald J. Trump, and I'm not finna be calling him 45, 38, 357 and all. I'm not finna do that. He President Donald Trump. The reason I call him President Donald Trump, because I ain't letting him off the hook. I want white America that voted for him and them suckers from our community and other communities that voted for him. I want y'all to know, y'all made him president. Y'all did this shit to us. So there you have it. There you have it. I'm not skating around it no more. He is the president of the United States. He is the worst president in the history of the United States. It ain't like we had a bunch of patting us on the back, sliding us $5 anyway. But you got a white supremacist. Y'all voted for a white supremacist. I want my brothers and sisters to understand the country voted for a goddamn white supremacist, and that's how they feel about your black ass. And for those who are offended by my profanity at times, I'll tell you this, man. If my mom was listening, I probably wouldn't be cussing. I ain't gonna lie. But I'll be 50 years old in a little more than a month. But and you know what? I probably would be. I just tell her sorry when I get off there. But people who offended by the profanity or put oh man, he shouldn't curse so much. Look, I don't do the code switch and get down. I don't do that. This rap. I don't play podcasts. I don't play radio. If you meet me in the streets, this the same dude you gonna meet, man. Rap. My homies call me B. You know, people in my family know me. Know me as Brian. You know what I'm saying? I got like Big Illinois say. He got about 10,000 nicknames. But you know, this the dude you gonna meet. So I don't do the code switching and codes. You know, and oh man, you should speak like that, rap. Like my man Big Illinois. I think Jungle just said something. He said a sentence, but Big Illinois said, "Fuck that, we all adults." I'm gonna get back to Jungle in a second. But code switching ain't for me, man. And my vernacular or my cadence is not for the you know, it's not representative of my intellect. It's not a rudimentary example of my intellect. It's a maximizing of my culture. I come from tough ass neighborhoods in Chicago, in the west side of Chicago, the north side of Chicago. Big ups to both areas. And that don't mean that all those people over there use profanity. But hey, I'm part of a culture that uses profanity. It's just it's an explanation point. It's not a definition. So back to my damn point. You know, I'm out here, man. I'm trying to help my folks. You know, and this clown Donald Trump created the greatest insult in the history of the world a couple of days ago. Oh, I didn't know it was on Juneteenth. You a damn lie. Stop lying to me. Oh, but I made Juneteenth popular. See, that's why I want y'all to call him President Trump. Because when you keep calling him President Trump, you realize that he may have the ability to enact certain things upon you. When you call him 45, you diminish his power. Believe it or not, you diminish his power. When you call him President Donald Trump, it might get some of your friends and neighbors to wake up and realize, like Jungle Brother did for me, I need to register to vote. I need to be part of the process so we can get this buffoon up out of here. Do I have any faith in the system here? No, I got faith in my folks. I got faith in the people in my chat room, the people who gonna listen, the people live next door to me, the people that neighborhoods that I come from. That's what I got faith in. But this dude said he made our holiday, our celebration important. I brought it to the world. That's the reason you need to get rid of this clown. Because he gonna take credit for hundreds of years of our blood, sweat, and tears and try to take ownership of that. We ain't having that. We're not having that. Our brothers and sisters die every day. One of our brothers and sisters has lost his life damn near every day since we've been here. Think about that, man. Somebody in our community, some ancestor of ours, a friend, a family member, a cousin, uncle, or a neighbor has died. At least one person a day has died in the name of being proud to be who we are. Think about that, man. This dude talking about he brought this to light. No, you didn't, homie. And God damn you for saying that. That's how I feel. See, a lot of us are probably happy with the governors and the mayors and people saying, oh, it's going to be a national holiday. I don't want it to be a national holiday. I understand the day off work and the paid. I get it. But I don't want it to be. You know why I don't want it to be a national holiday? Because everybody get to join in then. This ours. This is our day. And guess what? When they give you a national holiday, they're going to act just like they did when they gave you a president. Racism gone. We gave you a black president. What the hell you want? Nope. Leave my fucking day the way it is. Go to work mad that fucking day. Go to work with I slap the hell out you look on your face. Even if you ain't mad, just look like I slap the hell out you. When I worked, last company I worked for, I remember the June 6th thing popped off. Everybody in our office showed up in black. Motherfuckers was scared to talk to us. We never said anything. Never said one word. People, well, everybody got on black. I don't know. Every brother and sister in that office had on black. It was a show of solidarity. And nobody told anybody what it was for. See, you got jackasses like Donald Trump gonna claim our fucking holiday, man. Gonna claim the fact that we saved this fucking place. Not only did we build this place, we saved it. At least 4 times. 6 times. The Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the fucking World War I and II, Korea and Vietnam. We keep saving their asses. And nobody wanna give us credit. We complain. Tell you what, next time you think somebody from my community is complaining about slavery, I want you to think about this. Your sister or mother or somebody you love dearly gets raped and she's scared to go out and date and she's having issues coping with the world. Tell her, girl, get over. Go ahead and set that coochie out. It's about time you set that coochie out again. Because that when you tell my community, get over it, that's what you're telling us. Go ahead, set it out again. Trust us again. And if I sound angry, it's because I am. Our brothers and sisters, our ancestors have paid dearly so we can celebrate a monicum of independence. And a motherfucker gets on TV and claims it. If I wouldn't go to jail for saying it in some type of way, because I know people listen to me, I would. If that dude was somebody in the street, I'd punch him all in his face. I would whoop his ass. You know, my pops is dead for this shit. I never met my pops because of this shit, and you want to claim it, man? I would. If he was a dude in the street, I would fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just, this country continues to slap us in our face, brothers and sisters, and we continue to bounce back, and we continue to stir up the energy and the spirit to smile. And I don't disparage anybody from that, man. But I just want us to understand that this shit is real. Anytime you listen to that term, Black Lives Matter. Are you fucking? We are arguing to matter. You love me, mama? You matter. You would go in your bedroom and probably put a gun in your head. Hey, honey, you love me? You matter. What? I'm that. We arguing to matter. So, I ain't trying to hear no more, man. You know, I hope I'm not blowing nobody's day, man. I really don't, man, because I'm just tired. I'm tired. Man, this, man, watching that damn idiot box, man, will make you want to slap some damn body, man. You know. And I want to get back to the fathers. I know I'm all over the place. No, I'm following my paper. I feel like I'm all over the place. But we'll get back to the fathers, man. Brothers, our sisters have been carrying the water for 400 years. I'm not discrediting any man in the history of the world. I refuse to do that. But sisters been carrying the water for a long time. They tell our boys to calm down because, you know, if you had a rambunctious young man, the slave master would kill you back and he will probably hurt him. So they calmed you down. Dr. Joyce DeGruy, she mentions how we pass down through epigenetics. We pass down this thing where if you big up a young black man, the mom, in order to protect him, minimizes his successes due to that trauma, and that trauma's been passed down for centuries. You know, sisters been helping us out for a long time, and I'll be damned if I say brothers ain't good fathers, but I want the brothers to step up in our communities now. The University of Harvard, one of the most respected universities in the world, did a study a few years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, and it showed that people that look like me and you, we are 60% more likely to engage in our kids' lives. We in our kids' lives 60% more than any other culture. So that old bullshit about the black man don't take care of his kids and the black man and the black on black crime and all that old bull, we're gonna eradicate that. But what we gonna have to do, brothers, is start communicating with the brothers in your neighborhood, the brother on your block, the brother at your grocery store. Driving down the street, we're going to reinstitute the old head nod, like, what's up, brother? We're going to start the black fist, pump the fist at a brother. We got to get that back, man. Because like Mobb Deep said, it's a war going on outside. Nobody's safe. You got brothers being hung in Los Angeles County. I think it's LA County. You got cops shooting brothers in the back at Wendy's because they're embarrassed. And you got news outlets like Sean Hannity dog whistling to kill us. So those are the things we got to be aware of. So we can no longer have petty beefs. We can no longer let disagreements. Look, do you need to be friends with every brother in the history of the world? Hell no. But you know what? All you need to do is acknowledge he's a man. Hello, keep it push. That's it. When I say it's a war going on outside, you got to look at the fact that it takes national news coverage and insane amounts of disgrace for people to be prosecuted for killing us in the street. When you are in the United States of America, if somebody bursts into your house, kick in your door, you pull out your weapon to defend yourself. If that person turns around and runs out the door after he sees your weapon and you shoot him in the back, you go to jail. Ask Don King. Ask Don King. If you don't understand what I'm saying, that's why Don King went to jail, because a dude broke in his house, cut and ran. Don King shot him in the back, went to the penitentiary. Because he said he was protecting his home, not protecting his family or life. You see what I'm saying? It's a war. It's a war of words. We can outlast anybody in the history of the world. The fact that you brothers, salute to you brothers and sisters that's listening to me, the fact that every day you don't sit on your couch, put a gun in your head and knock your damn brain out your head after dealing with all this stress. Shout out to every brother and sister in within earshot on earth. On earth. Because if you think this bullshit is just going on here, do you know it's a Nigerian museum fighting with the country of Britain about artifacts that they stole out of their country, and then now they selling them to some Belgian people. You see what I'm saying? This ain't just here. So the fact that George Floyd's murderer is still eligible for his pension. You see what I'm saying? You murder somebody, you eligible for your pension. Really? Oh, you went to jail. My bad. Went to jail for stomping a kid. Thank you, RC. And I'm going to get to you in a second, Jungle. But Don King went to jail for stomping a man to death who owed him money and introduced the manslaughter. Thank you, RC. Those pigs have made millions of dollars. Married black women and single moms struggling to raise their kids. By the time their kids turn 18, they're already 4 years behind behind a kid that's raised by a two-parent home. Thank you for Jungle Brother, and thank you, RC, for the contributions. I love the contributions. Thank you. Well, being a criminal justice major, I do understand. I was under the impression that's why John King went to jail. But being a criminal justice major, I know this for a fact. If you say you was protecting your home, you going to jail. If you say you was protecting your life, you go home. Because a home is an inanimate object and a life can't be replaced. That's why I assume that RC, thank you for the correction. It's always good to have my brother RC in the chat room, because, hey, what RC just did is exactly what I need to be done nationwide, no matter what the case is. And if you can't, and I'm not patting myself on the back, and if you can't acknowledge that you made a mistake and somebody correct you, you part of the problem. Thank you again, RC. But this dude, this murderer, is out here fighting the case that he might win. We all know he may win. And he might be eligible for his pension. So you might take care of the dude who murdered somebody, but the whole goddamn world is mad at O.J. Simpson. How many cops walking around today who murdered people and kept their job, but the world is mad at the United States of America is mad at O.J. Simpson? Really? Do we need to do the comparison? Speaking of comparison, this week was I think it was the 100-year anniversary. I know it was the 100-year anniversary of our young ancestor, South Carolina, 5'2", 5'2", age 14, 90 pounds, in the early 1900s. Young brother George Stinkney. No, 75 years. I'm sorry. 75 years. Young brother George Stinkney was electrocuted. We'll show you how small he was. This young brother was so small that they had to sit him on a Bible so the crown in the electric chair would work. 90 pounds allegedly killed somebody with a pipe. He probably couldn't even lift the pipe. We talking probably a lead pipe back in that days too. Come to his house, grab his older brother and him, let his older brother go, kill him. So when people make I'm not gonna say that. When people make the uninformed statement that racism is getting bad, Trump made it worse, please explain that to our brother George Stickney. Because he would tell you the shit been bad, man. Shit been bad. But keep that in mind when you think it's getting bad. It's getting bad. It ain't getting bad. Shout out to Will Smith for making the statement. Racism isn't getting worse. It's getting filmed. That's all racism is doing. It's getting filmed. Yes, indeed, it has. It's tough being a brother. You know, it's dope. Like I saw a meme this week. Being black is dope as hell. It's kind of dangerous, but it's still lit. It is lit. We dope. But damn, can we get a fucking break? I don't even need no break, man. I'ma love my folks. I don't give a damn what go down. If you don't like me, you don't like my folks, sucks to be you. Because we dope and you not. We had a little legislation passed this week. And I'm not an advocate of any group that ain't pertaining to the African diaspora. So listen to me. Listen to me. Don't just hear me. Oh, I peeped it already, Jungle. You already know that, brother. You know that. I already know that. My man, Jungle Brother, he told me to check out the Dave Chappelle 846. I already peeped it, man. You know that. I'll never agree with anyone who won't vote this year. Agreed. It's their right to do that, but I don't complain. Don't complain later when the wrong candidate is elected. Again, Jungle Brother, I see coming through with the thunder. Much appreciated. There was a legislation passed this week. I know what you meant. No, I meant it's understood. I see. And we got a saying here in Chicago: things that are understood don't need to be explained. And the way I read, I'd have fucked it up anyway, probably. It was a legislation passed by the United States Supreme Court stating that if you part of the I almost say HBCU, the LGBTQ plus community, you cannot be terminated for being part of the LGBTQ plus community. And Franklin Graham showed his natural ass. See, when the reason I'm bringing this up, hey, Rap, we talking about our community. We're not talking about that, man. But that's how they get you. You pass the legislation that religious people can't fire people from the LGBTQ plus community, and then it's a slippery slope because then people those evangelical clowns, the people Christian evangelicals, they believe that being black is a sin because cursed be thy Canaan, the third son. Cursed be thy Cursed be thy Ham, the third Canaan, the third son of Ham, which allegedly is us. So it's a curse or a sin to be black, and then your black ass is out your job. You see what I'm saying? It's time for these cops dressing out, mourning some dead cops. They need to be on the CNN crime. I can't really dispute that. I'm not gonna repeat it because, hey, Jungle, we don't want to start saying that because then people tie way into connecting to you to that statement. I feel your pain, but we don't want to attract any attention to us. Again, things that are understood don't need to be explained. And when things happen to wicked people, we don't cry, we celebrate. How about that, Jungle? No. Do you hate the motherfucker more than you love your kids? Dick Gregory's discussing giving the family of cops college tuition and the messed up way that they can take that away. Yeah, man. Again, when you got Dick Gregory saying this since the 50s, 40s, 60s, shit ain't new, man. Policemen here in Atlanta are calling out and walking out on some and not answering on calls on the radio, but the mayor but the mayor is not phased. Yeah, Keisha Lance Bottoms ain't playing no fucking games. I wish I could fucking register in Chicago to vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms. If it's on me, Keisha Lance Bottoms dies mayor if that's what she wants to do. She the mayor forever. Shout out to the city of Atlanta. Ain't had with like 60% brothers. Ain't had nobody in there but us for a long time. Big ups to Atlanta, man. Big ups, man. Enough of that madness. Big ups. The hatred for us overpowers their love for their privilege and the love for their family. Hey, man, you know what? To the haters in the world, fuck them. Like my grandfather used to say, fuck them and feed them beans. Fuck them in their ass, feed them beans. That's how I feel about it. But back to this LGBTQ thing. A lot of people don't understand how that ties into you. See, because when you can get rid of a person for a religious thing, like I said, them evangelical Christians, they think being black is a sin. So they don't tell you that openly, don't do that. That's why when you're an evangelical Christian, that's why it don't faze you when these cops kill us. Hey, this ain't rap talking. This is real. It's real. This is real. Look into their doctrine. Hey, bro, you ain't got to go. If anybody, rap, you tripping. All you have to do is look into their doctrine. That's why I was disappointed in the Sister Gladys Knight. Sister Gladys Knight is a Mormon. Another group of people that said it's a sin to be black. So, it is what it is. But when you got people, at least, the funny thing is, this dude who Donald Trump just put in, the dude who allegedly raped the girl, the drunk dudes, yada, yada, yada. He the dude that voted it down. That buffoon Clarence Thomas, he ain't up with the smoke, though. Suck MCs at all times. But you know what, man? I am a firm believer in the Clarence Thomases, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Jason Whitlocks, what's that dumbass girl, whatever her name is. I can't even think of her name. Candace Owen. Those people are here they serve us a purpose too. Being a sucker really helps you understand that the fight ain't over. See, because if the fight was near ending, Candace, Stephen, Jason, that Sheriff Boone or whatever his name was, they don't have a platform to make money then. See, being a sucker has its benefits. You can become a millionaire just by being a sucker. Jesse Lee, whatever his name is. These people are millionaires. Rocks and Blows, Silk and Sperm, or whatever their name is. Whatever them two fat bras. Don't hate her, Cheers. My man, brother Cheers Roundtree say, I hate Candace Owens. Don't hate her, man. See, when we hate her, she get attention. See, because then you go, I hate that broad. And then your homie go, I hate that broad. Then somebody else, then we go, see, let me show you what she said. And we go to a YouTube channel and play one of them. Now she got 100 million views on her attempted destruction of George Floyd's legacy. Now she getting money every time we watch that. We can't hate these people. We can make them disappear and move forward. For every time somebody think about watching one of them jackasses videos, what we can do is subscribe to a sister like Karen Hunter, subscribe to a brother like Joe Mattis, Subscribe to a brother like Wilmer Leon. Pay the little $12. Get Sirius Satellite Radio. Listen to Urban View all day. Channel 126 all day. Get your soul fed. All day long. They talking up for us. Not speaking up, they talking up. I told y'all. The way I speak is not an example of a rudimentary mind state. It's a sign of my culture. My dialect is black. It's how we speak. Ain't my damn language nowhere. I do what the hell I want with it. Let me see how well you speak Swahili, motherfucker. The person in the back going, he didn't conjugate the verb properly. That's a double negative. Ain't got no. Speak some fluent Swahili and then you can tell me how to speak. If you can't, I'm gonna need you to callate pendejo. Nah, how about that? But we have to be aware of these laws being passed, because if we're not aware of the things that are being submitted, then we don't know what's coming down the pipe. For example, we as a community, as a nation, we need to be understanding damn who Joe Biden is. We're not voting for the other guy. And then in 2 years, we need to be focused on today we need to be focused on who we going to elect for the midterm elections. Because that's how they gerrymander. That's how they stop our seniors from voting. That's how they do voter suppression. So if we start focusing on today who we going to vote for in 2 years, and then once we get those people in order, we focus on who we going to get to replace Joe, then we'll be straight. Now we playing chess. Right now we playing checkers. Move, jump, move, jump, move, jump. No, we need to be going. We're going to put Joe in today, but his ass got to be gone in 4 years. And then we're going to have that brother who checked that brother from Louisiana, that white boy from Louisiana. We're going to get him to be the president. That's the type of moves we need to be making. And then we're going to have Sister Stacey Abrams and that brother from Florida who checked the boy from Louisiana. They need to be running in 2020 or 2024. You see what I'm saying? That's how we need to be moving. I don't want you to. I think that's I don't know who that is. That's somebody from my network. I don't want you to hate nobody. See, hate reduces you. Hey, by the way, I'm not friendly with the police either. I don't. If I don't know you, I don't trust you. I don't like you. But I don't want anybody to hate anything, because hate, that same energy we putting into hating the police departments of the world, or the wicked people of the world, or the devils of the world, or it's not. The same people we put into hating them, energy we put into hating them, remove that energy and focus on loving Roundtree, loving Joe from Houston, loving Jungle Brother, loving Raider for Life, loving Deacon Dale, loving your neighbors in your community. Figuring out the energy you put in the hate, or I'm not going to say you, because I feel the same way you feel, brother. The same energy we put into not liking and hating them, and that you motherfucker, that energy, we're going to put that into, we're going to invert that into positive energy, and we're going to figure out ways to recreate our community, build up our community, and fight against the tyranny that we face. See, if in 15, like I told y'all earlier in the show, if in 15 years you can create an atmosphere that has 12 churches, 31 restaurants, 4 drugstores, 5 hotels, 24 grocery stores, and 1,000 people who own their own homes, shit. And that's coming up out of sharecropping, redlining, Jim Crow segregation, and all that. Boy, please, we'll kill them now. We will kill them now. And that's what we need to focus on. I was listening to Brother Mandela on New Max Radio Thursday. And he had a young brother on there. And he kept saying, I don't want to be better. I just want to be equal. I don't want to be equal to shit. No disrespect to none of the brothers I support on the network and even on my network. I want to have a better show than Chief Rocker. I want to have a better show than Knox. I want to have a better show than Mooka Dean. I want to have a better show than Big Illinois. I want to have a better show. My favorite show ain't even my show. I want to have a better show than Theory of the Culture. I want to have a better show than Knox again on Friday. I want to have a better show than Lisa. Hell, I want this show to be better than my Tuesday show. But I want y'all to think y'all gonna have a better show than me to keep me motivated. I want to have a better show than Dale. I want to have a better show than Jungle Brother. I want to have a better show. But then, when I listen to y'all, I go, damn, I got to step it up. I got to step it up. So none of that I want equal. We have to, I want the next time Dale log on, the next time, who the next person come up? Rocker come on Monday. I want Rocker to knock that shit out the box. So when I'm listening, I'm going, yeah. I got to get some of that. And then when Knox do the hip hop joint in the middle of the day, I want to be like, yeah. I got to make the end of the bench fight. And when Tasty Talk come on out the end of the bench, I got to go, oh yeah. I got to get better than that. See, that's what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. Exactly, my brother Jungle. Exactly. See, we're not finna turn ourselves into devils and hate people. We're not doing that. We better than that. We come from better stock than that. You see what I'm saying? We better than that. I want to be better than Raider for Life come on tomorrow. I knew somebody come on tomorrow. Raider for Life come on tomorrow. Y'all see his name in the chat? Raider for Life. Follow Raider for Life. You get a notification. Go in there and just say hi. Turn your phone on, walk away, and listen to him. You ain't got to be in the chat room. This is a podcast. This is a listening exercise. Shout out to Joe Madison. This is theory of the mind. You're gonna hear what a Raider for Life saying. You're gonna imagine it. I knew somebody came on tomorrow night. You're gonna listen to I don't know if he coming on this Father's Day. He's gonna be celebrating. Big up to Father's Day again. D Great Mondays, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Motherfucking James Brown, man, the hardest working man in podcasting. D Great. We got this man. Just say what's up. You ain't got to be in the chat room to show the man love. You ain't. Chat room just, it helps us. It's love. But you ain't got to do it that way. Just listen. Enjoy what the brothers is dropping. Enjoy Jungle clowning us on, taking away points on stuff he know he shouldn't. Enjoy that, man. Embrace it. But just support. We are at the precipice. Yes, they do. We are right on the curve of doing something awesome, y'all. Do y'all understand what we do here on Spreaker.com? No problem, Raider. Man, hey, Joe from Houston. One team, same dream. Right there. One team, same dream. Shout out to Helen in the chat room. For those who don't know, Helen is low key. Helen the hater. But that's my dog though. That's my dog. As I move forward, man. Remember I told y'all Monday night or Tuesday or whatever. Oh, I asked the question on Tuesday night show. Did we miss our opportunity to pimp this dude Donald Trump? Because he obviously is angling towards us. He brings up unemployment. He brings up I signed the crime legislation. See, you don't bring that up. It's he like that sucker dude with a bunch of money at the club. Yeah, babe, I got a Maserati outside. He only bring that car because he's trying to draw that girl in. So, since he's trying to draw us in, we should have pimped him. Think we missed our beat on that one. We got emotional. We should have sent Some real brothers. Dr. Boyce Watkins. Laree Favors, a good sister. Tamika Mallory. We're supposed to send them to him and said, run that. And see, he wouldn't have talked to them because he know they on point like Trick Dice. He wouldn't have talked to them. But that's what we got to start doing. When we're in a situation where we feel that we might be further disenfranchised, what we gonna do is send the real soldiers in there to talk to them, the Karen Hunters, the Joe Madisons of the world, or whoever they recommend, because they on point. Hey, I'm telling y'all, man, spend another $12, get that app, man, get that Spreaker.com, that app. Listen to Urban View. But we should have pimped that clown. But anyway, he signed an executive order. Legislation equals slave nation, even for the poor. Shout out to J. Ron, man. Ron, you be coming at like 13, 19, 28 shows. You say something real cool. He signed an executive order. And what he did was he said, okay, we make the chokehold, we gonna ban the chokehold. What the fuck does ban the chokehold? That chokehold been banned since the 90s. Didn't our brother Eric Garner get choked out? See, that's because it's a ban. It's not a law. It's not illegal. I don't need a ban, president. I need it to make it illegal. Because then when you do something illegal and you kill somebody, you are liable for your actions. Bam. Then, but guess what? Did he add anything to support mental health? No, he didn't. That was a nebulous act. A dog and pony show. It was an executive order. You know, just like, see, an executive order is what you do when you don't have control of the Congress, when your people who support you, supposed to support you, don't vote in the midterms, and then you don't have the people to back you up for the next 4 to 6 to 8 years. So you sign an executive order, and the person right behind you can come behind and undo that executive order. That's what I'm telling you. This is why you must get an order. See, if he really wanted to help us out, Mr. President, if you really wanted to help us, you would have done away with qualified immunity. Does everybody know what I hope everybody know what qualified immunity is. If you don't know, now you about to know. Qualified immunity, according to my sister, if you want to follow her on Twitter, her name is Laree Favors. She her Twitter handle is Afro State of Mind. She's an attorney. Qualified immunity is simply exactly what it sounds like. It's immunity against your law. I mean, what you do to break the law when you're in a position of power. Donald Trump has qualified immunity. Because he's the president, he can't be disturbed in his duties in running the world, so we're not going to prosecute him until he get out the office. Police officers have qualified immunity, so when they kill one of our brothers and sisters, they are not held responsible for that person's death. Do you understand what qualified immunity is, though? Here is the start at the one corner, start running, and slap the hell out of everybody in our community at the next corner, slapping the face of it. Qualified immunity kicks in if nobody has ever been arrested for what you did, then you won't be arrested. So if you choke somebody out, you won't get, well, if you stand on somebody's neck for 8 minutes, 46 seconds, nobody's ever been arrested for that, so you might not be arrested for that. That's what qualified immunity is. Officers have that. If you shoot somebody running away and ain't nobody ever been arrested for that, you can exercise qualified immunity and get up out of there. Again, this is why we need to have people on our side. See, it's cool to complain. This ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. This ain't gonna happen. See, it's rigged. But it's a way to get around that. It really is. Participate. The very person that tells you this is some bull, ask them to run for office. Rep. Ayanna Pressley and Justin Ashman, along with other players in the coalition, have drafted a bill to eliminate qualified immunity. Thank you, Raider for Life. You in the building. Thank you for participating. It's all. If President Trump would have wanted us to help, then he wanted to give us some help, then he would have did that. We still ain't voting for your ass, but we said, man, good looking out, homie. Good looking out, sucker. My man, Malcolm Mayotte wrote this on Facebook today. In Chicago, we used to call it peon fees. A peon is a chump. And in Chicago, used to have, if you was a chump and you wanted to be around, you had to pay. We was taxing you. Now you can't be around us. Give us $20, you can stay. Go buy the drink, sucker. We got to get these politicians to pay our community peon fees. You a sucker. We don't like you. We really don't want you around, but you can be beneficial. So give us $50 and then we'll let you stand here. But when it's time, when the chicks come around, or when the cute girls come around, or if we already got a full tank of gas, we not letting you hang. You know, full tank of gas being election day. We not letting you hang out. Catch up with your crowd, homie. That's how we used to do it in Chicago. And that's why the black community needs to be doing these politicians. Catch up with your crowd. You ain't doing our bidding. Catch up with your crowd. No. Unemployment is at an all-time high. We need to make it just a little bit higher for these clowns. Really, we do. Something else. The death penalty. The federal death penalty has been reinstituted. This is another thing we need to galvanize and get rid of. Because if a disproportionate amount of people in our community are behind those damn walls, that means a disproportionate amount of people in our community are on death row. And if they're on death row for the wrong reasons, they're going to get killed at an alarming rate. My question is this. This really don't have nothing to do with our community or legislation or anything, but the whole death row thing. If you work at the prison and you the dude who hit the dude with the sauce and you hit 12 dudes with the sauce, ain't you a serial killer? I'm just saying. If you give out 12 lethal injections, aren't you a serial killer? Because that person you injecting lethally or strapping to the table for the lethal injection, you've done that 12 times. You a serial killer, partner. How's that shit? Who signs up for that job? But anyway, you got the death penalty reinstated. What was the point in that, man? People who living in Texas, y'all murder more people. The state government murder more people in Texas than anywhere in the world, anywhere in America. I think California is next. And I don't see the crime reducing in Texas and California. So what's the point of that? How about this? Invest in after school programs, invest in vocational programs, invest in art, invest in music, invest in engineering and science, and you will have far less people selling dope, participating in murder and mayhem, and people, then you won't have to kill nobody. Would that eliminate crime? Hell no. Because most serial killers in the United States of America come from affluent backgrounds or solid backgrounds. Allegedly solid. So John Gacy, motherfucker, hiding 73 people up on his crib. Jeffrey Dahmer, eating motherfuckers come from Milwaukee to Chicago. These weren't poor men. Palatine is not a part of the state of Illinois. There's a northwest suburb of Chicago. You need a little change to live there. And you go through our history, these not poor men. Son of Sam. This motherfucker, what's his boy name? David Berkowitz, who was the mailman or whatever his name was. These dudes ain't struggling. So, that's why I keep begging people to stop using that term black on black crime. How many times have you got into an argument with somebody who lived across town? How many times have you lived in Brooklyn, drove to the Bronx to argue with somebody? Because you don't. It don't happen like that. You get into an argument with your neighbor, though. Now, if you some emotional Carl Thomas ass dude, you're going to get hyped up and hurt somebody. But if you're a man, you're going to talk to him like a man or talk to him like an adult woman. Disagree vehemently and walk away and say what we all do. Man, fuck dude. Fuck her. And leave it there. But when you're emotionally unstable, you hurt people. And when you're suffering from 400 years of trauma, you hurt people. And the unfortunate part is the people are in your immediate proximity. And when they're in your immediate proximity, you got crime. Again, don't nobody travel. Let me go on over to Indiana and rob somebody. Hell no, because the Indiana police and the Illinois police are going to be chasing my ass. I'm finna rob me somebody right here in Chicago. I'm finna steal this car off my block. I'm not finna go to the north side and steal a car because then I got to drive too far to the chop shop. Stop letting people trick you into stuff. And that's how that crime bill got signed in 1992. After the government openly saying they pump dope and guns into our community, y'all signed a law that says the person who used to get 3 to 6 years is going to go from 2 to 6, to 6 to 30. But see, when you're struggling and you're suffering, you go along with that foolishness. And here we are. Black on black crime is a racist statement. No other community has their crime described in that way. When was the last time you heard white on white crime? Shout out to Raider for life. For example, to support my brother Raider for life, I'm a criminal justice major. I was taught that the 2 largest crime organizations they've done away with the La Cosa Nostra. 2 large crime organizations in the world are the Asian Mafia and the Russian Mafia. When was the last time you saw Asian on Asian crime on TV? Russian on Russian crime on TV? Because they argue with people. When you cross that Russian Mafia, you get the Luca Brasi. You're sleeping with the fishes. When you cross the Asian, you get done. But you never hear about that. And somebody in every culture in America that was probably murdered within the last 12 hours by somebody from that culture. You don't hear about that. So when you got people reinstituting the death penalty, that's another way to get rid of your black ass. And I know some people listening, man, we need to stop hurting each other. That is a human thing. Oh, was it black on black crime when Cain killed Abel? All them dudes in the Bible killing each other, was that black on black crime? World War I, was that white on white crime? The Spanish Inquisition, was that white on white crime? The War of 1812, was that white on white crime? The Civil War, the Revolutionary War, is that white on white crime? So I'm trying to understand why we know those stats. Here's a stat, since people love stats. Watch, what's the name of that movie? Five Brothers. Watch that movie, Five Bloods. And you will hear the statistics on 30% of the people that were in Vietnam look like me and you, but we only make up 13% of the population. And then you can do a little research and look up a brother by the name of Stokely Carmichael. He died with the name of Kwame Ture. You can see him telling people don't answer the call because it's a racist situation sending brothers and sisters to Vietnam. So it is what it is. Coming up, it's to me the most important part of the show I've done it I do ever. I want to talk to y'all about financing. We are being attempted to be bought off. You can look at it as assistance, guilt, white fragility is what they call it. That's the medical term for it, white fragility. But look at this. And I want us to, before I move to this, I want us to stop using terms like they don't want us to have. What we are going to do is start looking into some research things. American Small Business Association. I want all y'all to look into that. If you're an entrepreneur, look into the ASBA, American Small Business Association. Go to that. They are giving away money. They are giving away contracts. But we don't know about that. That's what Rap is here for every Saturday. I told y'all I was going to give y'all an entrepreneur get down every Saturday. That's the lick. They are giving away hundreds of thousands. Do y'all know our community alone misses out on $8 billion that is sent out through the United States federal government? And because we don't know it's there, we don't attack it. It is a hub link inside of that. That's where all the jobs at, y'all. USAjobs.com. Jobs on there paying 65, 70, 80,000. Because everybody's not meant to be a boss. And that's not a knock against anybody, but some of us don't have the entrepreneurial spirit. USAjobs.com. His jobs on there for high school diplomas, starting out at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. Rap working with you, man. But these were the donations. Promise of donations to Black Enterprise. Black Enterprise said these companies have pledged this money to us. Bank of America, $1 billion. Michael Jordan, $100 million. Sony Music Group, $100 million. Nike, $40 million. Netflix, they pledged $100 million to HBCUs. Walmart, $100 million. Time Warner Music, $100 million. Google, $25 million. Amazon, $10 million. Target, $10 million. General Motors, $10 million. Goldman Sachs, $10 million. Spotify, $12 million. United Healthcare Group, $12 million. They've pledged that money to social justice and reform. What the hell does that really mean? Here's another entrepreneurial tool for y'all. There's a such thing as a watchdog group. A watchdog group pays attention to what companies do so they can snitch on their ass and tell the world they full of it. So when you're looking at the Urban League, Operation Push, the NAACP, and other civic-minded organizations that are supposed to be supporting us, you can create an organization to watch the books of those companies, of those 501c3s. The reason you can do it because a 501c3 must have their books open to the public. When you make a pledge, your books must be open to the public. And now you have a watchdog organization so you can make sure that that money is allocated to the proper organizations and proper things so your community can benefit them. That is a lucrative industry, because it's even more lucrative now to have a watchdog organization because we've been conditioned to look for the gotcha moment. Aha! I knew they was full of shit. Now you can get paid for it. This next group of people is who I really want to talk about. Lowe's, $25 million. YouTube, fellow podcasters, YouTube have put $100 million in hearing black voices. So if you're a big mouth motherfucker like me, here's our shot. PayPal, $530 million for black-owned businesses. Apple, $100 million in Silicon Valley for black-owned businesses. This is not government reparations, but we can use this as reparations. Am I telling y'all that we should stop pursuing reparations via the United States federal government? Hell no. But what we gonna do is we gonna do what me and Knox gonna have a conversation soon, and we gonna see if we get our own Built for This Network streaming service about them Apple people. And you gonna continue to knock heads with your friends and family members, because these people are saying, the people I just named, Lowe's, YouTube, PayPal, and Apple, those monies are allocated towards black businesses, this is the actual quote, minority businesses focusing on black people. Here's our chance. Here's our chance. Join the two groups. Build and Destroy. Brothers gonna work it out. I am gonna be posting information in those two groups on a regular basis. I am going to be posting information in those two groups on a regular basis, whether it be health and wellness, information about entrepreneurialism, information about politics and things of that nature. I'm gonna be doing that, y'all. Because no more complaints. We ain't complaining no more. See, because when you complain and your enemy hear you complaining, he knows how to soft shoe you and pacify you. Ah, man. See, that's why I said at the top of the show, do not make Juneteenth a national holiday, because that's a concession. And I took that from the original H-Rap. Don't accept any concessions. We need change. To quote the great brother Malik El Haj Shabazz, Malcolm X, a.k.a. Malcolm Little, if you got a knife 9 inches deep into your chest, to pull it out 6 inches is not an improvement. That's a concession. Take the knife out my back. But we can use, says people are on edge and feeling guilty, $25 million from Lowe's, $100 million from YouTubers, podcasters. That's us. That's us. Podcasters again. If YouTube want to hear our voices, that's us. PayPal, $530 million to black businesses. That's us. Apple, Silicon Valley, $100 million. That's us. That's Rated for Life. That's Deacon Dale. That's Jungle Brother. That's New Max Radio. That's Built for This Network. That's all of us. Y'all hear me? There's money out there for us. We got to work together. If you get a game plan, hand it to your boy. If I get one, I'm sending it to you. Most of y'all, if you don't have my phone number, Brian Williams, inbox me. We can build this. We can do this. HRAP_B if you ain't on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram, inbox me. We can change numbers. We can do this. No more complaints. Excuses. Hey, my brother Joe gonna respect this one. Excuses are tools of the inadequate to use monuments of nothingness. See, he don't know how I know that though. Joe from Houston trying to figure out how he know that. But I need y'all, hey man. Chief Rocker's a civic-minded brother. Monday mornings. You know me and Knox on it. Knox on it Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm on it Tuesdays and Saturdays. Big Illinois on it Wednesdays. DJ Mooka Dean, a good brother. We don't got nothing but good people on Built for This Network. Mooka Dean, Chiz Roundtree, Lisa Dukes, Knox, Rocker, me. Support us. We supporting everybody. Don't worry about that, Joe from Houston. I know that. Don't worry about that. But I really need y'all to get in line, man. We ain't complaining no more, man. We building. We building. We building. I'm finna take a break. And then I'm going to shut it down. Holla at your boy. 1 second. 2 fingers. 1 word. It's your man H-Rap. I'll be back.
There are great people who existed all across the African continent, from ancient times all the way to our modern era, many of whom I've highlighted and discussed on numerous occasions. Some may say that there's a difference between being great and being legendary, and I happen to agree. Becoming a legend, in my opinion, takes on a different energy or vibe, if you will. So when it comes to African historical figures, who can we say is the most legendary of all? What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. And by supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you like access to full courses and sources, or you simply want to show your support, you may do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description box below. Now, legendary can mean different things to different people, and so I think it won't hurt to define it a little from my perspective. Legendary, in a nutshell, to me, simply refers to a memorable figure whose life story is a little romanticized to suit the needs of the people who they've impacted. So I chose 5 Africans who I thought might fit this definition, and I want you guys to choose who you think may be the most legendary figure in African history. If your person isn't on my list, please share who you think is the most legendary figure in all of Africa. So let's begin. It's very difficult to ignore the legendary status of Mansa Musa. Even today, he's recognized as the wealthiest human being who has ever existed. That in and of itself can be seen as the greatest accomplishment for a human being, at least from a materialistic point of view. Mansa Musa, as many of us know, was a Mandinka ruler of the Mali Empire in the 14th century who went on a pilgrimage to Mecca, and he ruled from 1312 to 1337. Along his journey, he built centers of worship and gave money to the people. The story is really extraordinary. He gave away so much gold that it greatly affected the economy of Egypt for years to come. This journey not only put Mansa Musa on the world stage, but it introduced his city, Timbuktu, as well. There's really no doubt about it. If it weren't for Mansa Musa, the city of Timbuktu would not have its legendary status today. Now, I know many of us may be tired of hearing about Mansa Musa and want to go beyond him, but that's exactly the point. He cannot be ignored in any conversation about the greatness and splendor of African history. What makes Mansa Musa a candidate for the most legendary African figure was that he forced the world to recognize the power and wealth of West African civilization during his time and well after. The resume of Mansa Musa is just tough to beat. Next, we have the legendary Nubian king Taharqa. King Taharqa was the king of the Kushite Empire from 690 to 664 BC. Now, the ancient fame and legend of Taharqa, if I'm honest, has always baffled me, because I believe there were more successful Nubian kings than him, like his father, King Pi. I think when it comes to the legendary status of Taharqa, it perhaps boils down to 2 things: timing and youth. King Taharqa came to the Kushite throne during the peak of the Kushite Empire, also known as 25th Dynasty Egypt. He perhaps restored more buildings and temples than any of his predecessors, and his back and forth battles with the Assyrians caught the attention of the ancient world. But at the end of the day, everyone likes a young royal. Taharqa was believed to have had some influence in the Levant region even before he came to the throne, navigating foreign diplomacy in the Middle East under his father in his late teens or early 20s according to some. Whatever the reason, his legend in the ancient world grew very quickly as some Greek scholars romanticized his military might, suggesting that he might have advanced as far as Europe. Because a few Greek scholars decided to give ear to this idea, people even today believe he did so. Even the Hebrews acknowledge Taharqa by mentioning him in their records, as he's said to have sent military aid to a Hebrew king during his battle with the Assyrians, essentially saving Jerusalem, the epicenter of the Christian faith today. Taharqa, oddly enough, compared to most African kings, gets a lot of credit, some well-deserved and some perhaps not. But in the end, we see very clearly the impact King Taharqa had and how he made the ancient world feel he was invincible. We have to give him credit for that regardless about what we may believe concerning his actual accomplishments. I think this Nubian pharaoh makes a great candidate for most legendary figure in Africa. The next candidate we have is Ramses the Great. The name alone demands respect, as he arguably became the most famous pharaoh in world history. The name Ramses became the quintessential symbol for Egyptian power in our ancient and modern eras. Ramses II came to the throne in 1279 BC in the 19th dynasty of Egypt. He was a successful military commander, very intelligent and even pious, as he built many temples and monuments and cities. Once again, like Taharqa, one of our infatuations with Ramses II has to do with his youth. Some scholars suggest that he may have been just a teenager when he came to the throne. Ramses consolidated Egyptian military strength during the peak of Egyptian military history. He defeated the so-called Sea People, who were wreaking havoc all over the Mediterranean, and his most famous victory, the Battle of Kadesh, is a constant in the minds of many. His victory over the Hittites is perhaps the most famous Egyptian victory in history. His participation in battle is also one of the most famous symbols of Egyptian power, inspiring popular culture greatly. For example, movies about the biblical story of Moses in Egypt depict Ramses as the pharaoh, even though the literature doesn't at all mention the name of the pharaoh. His legendary status is really a reflection of how he single-handedly symbolized the entire history of Egyptian statehood and power. In other words, though he existed relatively late in Egyptian history, Ramses II became the face of Egypt. Our next candidate barely needs an introduction. Just like how Ramses became the symbol of power in Egypt, one can make the argument that Shaka Zulu became the symbol of power for the entire continent. Shaka is just as famous as any other ruler on the continent, if not more. The amount of references he gets in popular culture is more than enough to give him the title for most legendary figure. Shaka Zulu was a king of the Zulu kingdom from 1816 to 1828, and what makes him special is how he single-handedly advanced the Zulu people by pioneering a military revolution for the entire region. Shaka was the most influential warrior king in southern Africa. During his reign, more than 100 chiefdoms were brought together into the Zulu kingdom. He proved the advantages of his new tactics and trained Zulu warriors in the new fighting style. What also makes him legendary is because even after his death, his military innovations led the Zulu to become a formidable opponent even against Britain's modern army. The Zulus are arguably the most popular ethnic group below or above the Sahara. Even our modern military forces today honor the Zulu name in reference to military time zones. And make no mistake about it, the reason the world knows the name Zulu is because of Shaka. Shaka certainly becomes a tough candidate to beat for the crown of most legendary African figure. And last but not least, we certainly can't leave out Hannibal Barca. Hannibal is recognized by some as the greatest general who ever lived and is championed in popular culture because of this honorary title. Hannibal took control of the Carthaginian forces at the age of 25, and as tensions with Rome grew, he began assembling a large army. By 228 BC, a Roman frontier started to expand into Spain, and Hannibal began to campaign there in order to ensure Carthaginian control. Hannibal took city after city as he militarily drove through. The wealth he acquired was used to purchase the supplies and troops needed to continue his trek. This is where the legend of Hannibal reached its zenith. Hannibal marched from Spain, crossing into southern France, and eventually reached Italy. His military victories and tactics were second to none. Roman generals were consistently outmaneuvered by Hannibal. They even sought to avoid a direct battle with him at one point. No image is so etched in our modern minds than Hannibal's crossing into the Alps with his African elephants. For whatever reason, that event took Hannibal's fame to the next level. I think it revealed something special about the human spirit, its determination and survivability. Hannibal's decision to do that could have been seen as suicide, but it just showed us what kind of legendary man he was. If he would have failed in crossing the Alps, most people wouldn't even know about him except perhaps history enthusiasts. Not only did Hannibal win the respect of his enemy, but he won the respect of his troops by living the same hard life they did, eating the same foods, and even sleeping on the ground. His triumphant feats in battle against arguably the paramount military force on the planet gave him the title of the greatest military strategists in human history. Some of his tactics even survived into the modern era, which is absolutely remarkable. So given all these great rulers, which one do you think is the most legendary in African history? Really looking forward to what you guys have to say. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.
Welcome back to the podcast, brothers and sisters. I lied to y'all. That was really the end of the show. But I want to make sure y'all heard that, because I want y'all to understand the greatness that y'all come from. I want to send a shout out to everybody who's in the chat room. I can't do it individually, but I want to encourage you to listen to Rated for Life tomorrow. I think Deacon Dale has a show tomorrow. I'm not sure if D. Gray gonna have a show tomorrow because it's Father's Day. He's gonna be celebrated. Monday morning, I'm on Chief Rocker. Monday evening, D. Gray, Love Jones. Me and Knox and New Max Radio holding it down on Tuesdays. Jungle Brothers do pop-up shows. Support the brother Jungle Brothers. You see, when I see these, y'all see these names, you gotta follow the Bill for This Network family because you already doing it. Jungle Brother, follow them. Rated for Life, follow them. Deacon Dale, follow them. D. Gray, follow them. XY Radio. New Max Radio. Ben from BS3 Sports. Support the move. Mint. New Max Radio. Support it. I used to say this thing when I was on XY Radio. Black Spreaker. That's what we're going to get back in order, y'all. We got to get that back in order. I say this after every show. I ain't asking nobody to like nobody. But when we unite, we defeat tyranny. We defeat the devil. We defeat the devils that are opposing us. My new schedule is now 3 a.m. on Saturdays. So that's from Friday going into Saturday. That's when Jungle Brother can be on. If you up, I was up last night because I'm a fucking dumbass that's up at all times of night. Knox, get on me about that. I'm working on it, Knox. I'm working on it. But I want everybody to be supported. Go into the chat rooms, man. Just say hi, man. Believe it or not, when you say hi to the podcasters, that lifts our energy a little bit. So with that being said, I want to salute everybody for tuning in. Share the show if you can. And if you can't, sucks to be you. You ain't cool. But I want to thank everybody for the support. I will continue to support my brothers. And man, we gonna get this together. We don't have no choice. We do not have a choice. We will get this together one day at a time. You hear the song in the background, brothers gonna work it out. So y'all know how I end all my shows. Dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor and surround sound. Salute to my inspiration. That will be Reggie O'Shea, a.k.a. Combat Jack. That's his saying. He is resting in power right now. So I'm going to continue to mention Combat Jack. If you know anybody who needs some upliftment, needs some empowerment, tell them to tune in for Built for This Network. We're going to give it to them. Tell them to tune in to Jungle Brother and Real Cash Rangers. Tell them to tune in to Rated for Life. Tell them to tune in to Deacon Dale. Tell them to tune in to D. Great and XY Radio. Tell them to tune in to anybody on Black Spreaker. My man out west, DJ Chuck, I almost forgot. I'm sorry, Chuck. So, man, keep it funky, man. 2 fingers, 1 word. It's your man H-Rap. And I'm out.
We are Built for This Network. For the strong, not the weak.